And our stock of the day, Link. Shares taking a beating this morning, falling to a 2-year low. That's after the ACCC scrutinised its pending takeover by Canadian software company Dye & Durham, saying it sparked significant competition concerns. And Dye & Durham stands to gain a 42% stake in PEXA if that deal goes ahead, through which the regulator says will affect property conveyancing industry and in turn Aussie home buyers. So that's why it's taking a look at it. Link saying it will vigorously defend itself against those proceedings. So, Gaurav, what are you thinking then of Link and just obviously that regulatory concern that's now front and centre?
Of an emboldened and rather aggressive ACCC. We've seen this several times now. The most prominent being with TPG's takeover of, merger with Vodafone, which I would have thought is a really sensible acquisition and would have done the market quite well. But in fact, that was blocked. Now this has been investigated. I think there's more reason to investigate this. PEXA is effectively a monopoly. It was created to be a monopoly and is behaving like one. The returns are sensational. The hands of this in private equity, I can understand why it will make the regulators take another look at it. But this has ramifications for takeovers all the way down the line. I think Alliance Aviation will be looking at this very carefully with Qantas. I don't think they're going to get a clear run. And in fact, I think the Alliance share price, if it's not down today, it ought to be, because I think this has implications further down the line. Anyone who's now looking to take over a competitor or integrate, I think will face is clearly facing a more aggressive ACCC. That's the takeaway from here. For Link in particular, Link has been a weak business for a long time. It's going to be ripped apart and sold in one way or another. And I don't think this will be an impediment to it. It's probably going to mean a much lower price. I have no interest in it myself. There are clear cultural problems inside Link, poor management for a long time. I've got no interest in this business at all, Andrew.
Okay, all right. Luke, so Gaurav makes a good point there, just as far as the hand of the ACCC is concerned and the ramifications for other potential takeovers here.
Yeah. It's why it's always so tough going second after Gaurav, because I don't really have anything else to add. I think he's absolutely nailed it. It was a bit of a surprise to me because PEXA is already a monopoly. So, you're just talking about who owns the monopoly rather than the actual monopoly being created itself. So the signal there to the market from the ACCC is, as Gaurav correctly points out, this is something a little bit, not so much they're going past their powers, but they're certainly going to places they probably haven't really pushed before. And I'd actually forgotten about that TPG Vodafone, but that's another good example of that. So very interesting to then sort of apply that thinking to the rest of the market if you are someone looking to consolidate market share, particularly in spaces where you are creeping towards a monopoly or something getting close to it. ACCC will probably take a close look at you and not afraid to try and knock them back. And then second to Gaurav's point, I agree completely with his take on Link. This is top of my head, 4th or 5th time someone's taken a look at Link and walked away. Now, I guess D&D haven't walked away yet, but I suspect they would like to, given their share price is down 50% from where it was. So there's something, there's cockroaches in the kitchen here with Link. Gaurav's right, there's pieces of the business that are probably decent in the right hands. How it finds its way to those hands, wait and see. But I'm not the sort of investor who sits there and tries to, run a sum of the parts valuation and hope that value can be unlocked. So I'd be staying away from Link. And I suspect something like this hangs over the share price for quite a while. I saw in the AFR that merger arb funds have essentially walked away thinking that this is probably the last chance Link had to be taken over as a full entity.
Yep. Okay. So looking a bit stinky at this point, but interesting point just as far as what this means for other potential takeovers.